Belmont. Major Belmont is an officer in the United States Army, an aviation officer, pilot to the rest of us. He's a graduate of the United States Military Academy and of Columbia University. He was recently Northeast Regional Commander at West Point's Director of Admissions and currently commands D Company, 277th Aviation Support Battalion, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum, New York. He is deployed overseas in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom 1 and 3, Operation Enduring Freedom 13. Major Belmont's significant awards and decorations include the Bronze Star with Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal with 2 device, the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal. He also possesses the Combat Action Badge, Senior Aviator Wings, Airborne Badge, and Air Assault Badge. He is joined today with his mother Victoria, his wife Sarah, and children Emily and Matthew. Major Belmont.
Good afternoon. Admiral and Mrs. Smith, Grand Marshal and Mrs. Gervais, Colonel and Mrs. Tilson, other distinguished guests, current service members, veterans, friends and families of our fallen comrades, and all our fellow Americans. Thank you for gathering today to remember all those who have made the supreme sacrifice in the defense of freedom and liberty. I tried this past week to pen some cogent remarks to share with you in between monthly property book inventories, a last-minute rifle range, aircraft maintenance that always takes longer and costs more than you thought it would, driving back home from Fort Drum to spend some time with my family as I do every weekend. My thoughts on the subject of what this day is about all blurred together. Now, you would think that of all people, someone on active duty would have a keen appreciation for the meaning of the holiday. After all, every day I get to work with selfless young men and women who volunteered to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the ideals it embodies. They're willing to put those principles paramount in importance even to their own lives if necessary. I don't take that for granted, do I? When I administer the oath of re-enlistment to one of my soldiers, or this coming Wednesday when I read the oath to a couple of newly minted second lieutenants after West Point's graduation, will I think about the gravitas of the words I'm saying, the obligations those young Americans standing across from me with their right hands raised are undertaking? As I get dressed, I open up a drawer and I select from a few dozen black bracelets that each carry the name of one of my classmates, or my soldiers, or my comrades. Who will I honor and remember today? Timmy, Jamie, Todd, or Ben? As I put that bracelet on, did I stop and think about them and their story and how they lived and how they died? The same way that I did when their wife or their mom or their platoon sergeant first handed me that bracelet? When I came home this weekend, did I talk with my kids about why they're not going to be in school on Monday and why the scout troop is going to the cemetery to put flags on some of those grave markers? Or did I just drop my 4-day pass paperwork and bust out the calendar with the wife and figure out what we were going to do with a little extra family time? It must feel the same for many civilians too. It's blurry. You see a news clip about a big suicide bombing in Afghanistan and you think, wait, you still have guys over there? I thought the president said we were pulling out. Oh, hang on, here comes the 5-day forecast. I want to catch this. Or your golf buddy puts up a post on Facebook about his nephew, the Marine, who was killed in Fallujah 10 years ago. 10 years? Man, has it been that long? Maybe you always see that guy bagging groceries at Walmart wearing a Vietnam veteran cap. Should I say, welcome home? I mean, I know they didn't exactly get the red carpet rolled out for him back in the day, but I've seen him a bunch of times. I've never said anything before, so it'd just be awkward now, right? The veterans, they've got a foot in each camp, because they're out now, but they still remember their time in uniform. Every once in a while, thinking of some of their buddies who served alongside them that didn't make it home. And some days that time feels like 100 years ago, or a distant memory, until something from the past reaches back to you and wakes you in the middle of the night with your heart pounding, your arm reaching for that spot where you always used to lean your rifle against your cot. But nobody understands why your mind is 1,000 miles away from your office work that next day. For those of you who have lost someone, that you loved in the line of duty. May God give you strength. I can only imagine what that blur must feel like to you that you walk through on a daily basis. 1,000 ways that the world reminds you of that loss. Sometimes it makes you swell with bittersweet pride as you catch a glimpse of a better world made possible by what your loved one gave up. But other times it's a knife in your heart as you watch someone cheapen that sacrifice or take that freedom for granted. So there you go, on a day-to-day basis, just saturated by over a decade of protracted conflict against a cowardly and nebulous but still deadly enemy, amplified by the echoes of the war's past. You saw all the different color uniforms that marched in front of us today. We all struggle in our own ways with this concept of someone writing a blank check to the American people, payable in any amount up to and including their own life. Yeah, feel-good speech of the year so far, right? Don't worry, all right? The purpose of this Memorial Day is to bring that blur into focus for us. What we do today with our parades and our speeches and grave marker decorations and wreath layings, let it refresh that wellspring of gratitude and patriotism and appreciation within us, so it flows from us throughout the year. So here are some marching orders, issued today, effective immediately, to be executed year-round. Sir, I signed your name on it. I hope that's okay. At your aid, square me away with that. All right, so first, we honor our fallen comrades by remembering the selfless example they set in life, acknowledging the sacrifice made and the loss felt by those left behind. When called, those valiant men and women of the United States Armed Forces did not hesitate to answer, even knowing that they might not make it home safely. They marched forth into unfamiliar lands, dangerous situations, undertaking courageous acts of selflessness for the benefit of others, some of whom they may never even meet. Some gave up everything that they had to create better lives for people all over the world, not just here at home, for generations to come. So remember them. Next, we honor them by appreciating the freedoms that they sacrificed their lives to defend. We should celebrate the spirit with which they served and reflect upon their contributions in making America truly the land of the free. It's because of the members of our armed forces that we've been afforded the privilege of living in the greatest nation in the world. So celebrate that and be grateful. All right, that means guilt-free barbecues this weekend. Finally, after we remember the fallen, we honor them by appreciating the freedoms they fought for. We honor them by recognizing the living who served and who still serve, especially those who bear the seen and unseen wounds of war. So say thank you for your service. Say welcome home. Support the organizations that aid our service members, our veterans, and their families. So many of you have probably seen the movie Saving Private Ryan. If not, spoiler alert, I apologize. All right. The Army sends a squad of Rangers to go retrieve a soldier from the battlefields of World War II Europe because he's the last of 5 brothers, 4 others having been killed in various offensives around the time of D-Day. Towards the end of the movie, the leader of that squad lies mortally wounded, having made that supreme sacrifice to ensure Private Ryan's safety. The captain, played masterfully by Tom Hanks, motions Ryan over to him and intimates these dying words. Earn this. Earn it. So let that be our charge today. Live this day and the 364 that follow it, earning the sacrifice of more than 1 million patriots who have died in the defense of our country and its ideals since its inception. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May God bless you all. Our departed heroes, their families, our service members and veterans, and may God bless America.